is William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I attended a gathering of protesters this day at Clyde Warren Park at Olive Street and South Frontage Road. A great place for protesting with the amount of cars passing by. We have two great interviews and there's no need for me to speak up for them. They have all the facts.
Hi, my name is Connie Paredes. I'm here with our allied partners to speak out against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I am here with Texas Organizing Project, and I just have one question for Texans. Do they think that Texans deserve secure and good-paying jobs? I think we do, right? So that's why we're here. This partnership is nothing but big corporations advocating for making more money. And they are not taking into consideration the impact that we're going to have here in Texas financially and environmentally. We truly need to speak out against this partnership agreement because we deserve to keep jobs here in Texas and keep our people employed.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
And then you in the back, put it up real high. There we go. Now that's a picture. There we go. Tough question. First name, last name?
Cash, C-A-S-H.
Oh, simple. And you are?
I'm the executive director of the Texas Fair Trade Coalition.
And what does that stand? What is that?
The Texas Fair Trade Coalition is an organization of about 40 groups across Texas. Labor unions, environmental organizations, immigrant rights groups, faith-based groups. The Texas Farmers Union is a member, and it's a very diverse coalition that are united around one issue, and that's that the free trade template is set up by NAFTA, set up by the North American Free Trade Agreement 20 years ago this month, has been bad for Texas, bad for the United States, and bad for all the people in the countries that it's affected.
How, when you say bad, what do you mean?
Well, specifically in Dallas, you can look at the statistics. Dallas has really been an epicenter of job loss because of NAFTA and the other free trade agreements that have gone into effect since 1994. There is a government program called the Trade Adjustment Assistance Program, which workers who are laid off have to apply for, and the government goes over their applications to make sure that they have actually been laid off due to trade-related issues, such as cheap imports coming in the country, or their jobs actually being sent overseas. And in Dallas-Fort Worth area has actually lost more jobs than any other place in Texas, and are still losing jobs. We're waiting on some workers now. We hope that some of them will show up so we can see a human face to this problem of workers who have been laid off, whose jobs are going overseas. I think it's 300 workers who are represented by the United Auto Workers Union, and that's just in the last month here in Dallas. In the state of Texas, since NAFTA passed, 140,000 workers have been verified to have lost their jobs due to trade. And this is primarily because of the free trade system that NAFTA set up, but then CAFTA, China joining the WTO, and the last 3 free trade agreements that we passed, Colombia, Korea, and Panama, have all been job losers for the United States. However, when you track those jobs that are sent to Mexico or China, you have jobs that in the U.S. People are able to feed their families and are able to have a middle-class lifestyle. Those jobs are turned into sweatshop jobs, where in Mexico people are not able to feed their families based on the pay they're getting, making the same products that have been made in the U.S., or in China, where teenage workers are committing suicide in factories that are building products for U.S. multinationals. And this all started with NAFTA. We're marching today to the Chamber of Commerce building, which is very fitting because the Dallas Chamber of Commerce, very few Chamber of Commerces did more to promote NAFTA, lobby for NAFTA than Dallas did. And the promise was jobs.
I thought NAFTA was supposed to be good for Texas.
Well, NAFTA was supposed to be good for Texas. CAFTA, which is the Central American Free Trade Agreement, is supposed to be good for Texas. Allowing China in the World Trade Organization is supposed to be good for Texas. The argument is always the same. We pass these trade deals, we gain jobs, you gain jobs, everybody gains jobs. When you look at the reality, with NAFTA, for instance, not only have we lost close to 1 million jobs in the United States because of NAFTA, you look at Mexico, which was supposed to gain because of NAFTA. When NAFTA passed, they had a poverty rate of 30%. It's now 52%. NAFTA, however, did create 40 billionaires in Mexico. So if you're in the 1%, NAFTA's worked out pretty well. If you're a working class person in Mexico or the United States, it has not worked out.
And you say jobs. What type of jobs are you talking about that America has lost?
I think a lot of people have the idea that this is something that only affects factory workers, and it is true. It has affected factory workers. It has thousands, actually close to 3.7 million jobs have been lost. A lot of those have been factory jobs. And one of the selling points at first was that, we'll lose these factory jobs, but then we train everybody to work on computers and everything's going to be high tech. However, now high tech jobs are going to Philippines and China. Just recently, the General Electric moved one of their large facilities, made some sort of medical equipment to China.
Is there a reason for why all these jobs are going overseas?
It's more profitable for the companies involved, and
it's cheaper labor.
It's cheaper labor, and that's why we're here to march against the current free trade agreement that's being negotiated, which is the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It's been negotiated under the most secret conditions of any trade agreement so far. Very few members of Congress have even been allowed to see it. Just people clapping, the communication workers showing up.
Okay. All right. So you're going to be walking to the
Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce. Anything else I forgot to ask you that maybe you want to tell me quickly before these? I got another.
Well, what people should do is, if they're concerned about these trade agreements, put TPP. Just put TPP in Google or Yahoo search engine, and start educating yourself on it, because it's something which has been negotiated in secret. When people find out what TPP, and that is the Trans-Pacific Partnership, when they find out what it's going to do, they will get mad and they'll call their congressperson, and that's what I'm saying, is call your congressperson after you've educated yourself on TPP.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Great.
Okay.
This is Claude Cummings. He's the vice president.
They just put you up in front of the fire spot.
Oh man, what can I say?
Can you back up a little bit?
Okay. Ask a real tough question. All right.
You've done this before, right?
Yes.
First name, last name,
My name is Claude Cummings Jr.
Spell your first and last name.
CLAUDECUMMINGS. The Communication Workers of America. We have about 100,000 AT&T, Verizon, and state workers and other workers, airline workers across the 5 states I represent. I represent workers in Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Ohio.
Y'all are unhappy.
We're very unhappy. We're happy. Congress is considering giving the President authority to fast track the TPP And to be quite honest with you, we've had these fast-track agreements in the past. They've hurt workers in this country. NAFTA hurt workers in this country. We were promised jobs when NAFTA took place. Okay. You're right. When
Everybody's starting to slide over.
Slide over.
Yeah. Back up a little bit.
All right.
Okay, and continue. I'm sorry.
All right. So when NAFTA was passed under the Clinton administration, we were promised that labor would get jobs, but instead of receiving jobs, we lost jobs.
How did that happen?
It just happened because companies, once that bill was passed, companies moved jobs offshore.
Why?
And so there was because it was cheaper. It was cheaper. And so what happens is labor loses jobs here. They move them to these countries where they're paying 28 cents an hour or $28 a day for more profit. So the bottom line is none of these fast-track agreements are any good for this country. All we're doing is taking in, imports. We're not exporting anything, and that doesn't make sense. You import, but you don't export anything. And so it's hurting workers in this country. It's going to hurt our environment. It's going to hurt wages, environmental protection. I mean, there's just nothing good about giving the president the authority to fast-track these type of agreements without having some type of congressional involvement.
Now, has all this situation you're just talking about, it's going to hurt the environment, it's going to hurt our business. Right. Has that all started, or is it about to begin?
No, it hasn't started yet. It's being talked about. And we're out here hoping that the public will understand clearly that this agreement could hurt us, and that they call their Congress members and senators and tell them no fast-track agreements in this country. We want Congress to have an opportunity to look at this agreement, because fast-track gives the Congress the authority to delegate that to the president.
Right.
He doesn't have to negotiate in the public. All he has to do is just once he's reached agreement, he negotiates himself, of course, and then all he has to do is within, I think, 90 days just inform the Congress that an agreement has been reached. We don't want that. We don't want an agreement that's being negotiated privately. We want the people of this country to see exactly what is taking place with these negotiations. And personally, I am also disappointed that we have Congress members that are not standing with labor on this. We have Congress members in this state that labor worked very hard for to get them elected, and now they're considering supporting the president on this fast track. We're asking those elected officials that labor worked so hard to get elected to stand with us in this, because this is a fight that is going to damage labor in this country. It's going to hurt our environment, it's going to hurt our economy, and it's no good. So that's why we're here today. All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you.
That's okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. Glad to see y'all came here. We all know what we're here for. We're here about the Trans-Pacific Partnership and to see if we can get our elected officials to listen to us about how bad this is. From the CWA at our District 6 level, which is a 5-state region, we've got Claude Cummings, our Vice President, who would like to speak to us today.
Good afternoon to all of you. And let me thank you so much for being out here to march against this TPP. I mean, this is just a horrible, horrible thing that is taking place in this country. And I tell you, labor supporting TPP would be like the chicken supporting Colonel Sanders, to be quite honest with you. It's not going to do anything but hurt us. So let me just give you a few facts. First of all, lost jobs. If this is passed, then we could possibly lose 130 jobs due to the inclusion of Japan and Vietnam in the TPP. Under NAFTA, we lost 3.4 million jobs. You hear that? 3.4 million jobs. Lower wages. In Vietnam and other places, they're paying 28 cents an hour. So what that means is, when these agreements are made, companies then ship the work overseas and they pay these low wages. Do we want that? No, we don't want that. No more Buy America. If this is passed, then we can't even talk about Buy America products. Tainted food, you better eat your shrimp now. Because if we have this imported food that does not have the regulation that we have now, we could possibly get sick. High medical costs. I don't know about some of y'all, but our retirees are griping now because the medical costs in this country have become so high. But if this TPP passes, there's a possibility that we'll have higher medical costs. The environment, there'll be no environmental protections. So let me give you these facts. With NAFTA in 1994, we lost 700,000 jobs. In China, with that agreement in 2001, we lost 2.7 million jobs. In Korea, in 2012, under that agreement, we lost 40,000 jobs. Now, in all these different agreements, we were promised that there would be jobs in this country, not lose jobs. But what's happening is we're bringing all this stuff into the country, right? We're importing, but nothing's being exported. You know why? Because there are no jobs in this country. They're all overseas. We fight constantly, those of us who are in the labor movement, to try to get companies to bring jobs back in this country. You know why we're in the shape we're in financially now in this country and the economy is like it is? Because there are no jobs. Because the jobs are overseas because of these type of agreements. That's why. That's why. So we want our elected officials, and let me tell you, we have some Congress members in this state that I am absolutely shocked about, that have said they're not going to stand with us. They're not going to stand with us against this. As a matter of fact, one of them told us that they want to be on the right side of history when this is passed. I say bull crap. He'll be on the wrong side of history if it passes. We do not want this to pass. And as much as I like our president, okay, I mean, I think he's done some great things in this country, but I am disappointed that he wants the authority to fast-track this agreement, because it would hurt labor. Those of us who worked to make sure that he got elected, those of us who walked in the streets, those of us who made our donations. And so I'll tell you, we're going to march, we're going to march, we're going to march, we're going to march and make sure everybody in this country knows that this could hurt us, it could hurt them. We're going to march, 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 march. No TPP, no TPP, no TPP, no TPP, no TPP, no TPP. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thank you for supporting us on today. I want to thank Local 6215 for helping put this together, along with all the other groups that are here on today. We are one in this fight. We are one in this fight, and it's going to hurt all of us if this passes. So thank you so very much for your time, and let's have a great march on today.
Thank you all, education workers, Teamsters, the Texas Alliance for Retired Americans, Jobs with Justice. We've got Texas Organizing Project, UAW, Move On. Yeah, a great group of all different groups. So to the logistics now, we're going to march along the sidewalk. We're going to obey the traffic signs, and we'll try and cross as a group. So let's stay on the sidewalks, please. We will go down on the sidewalk here on these past the food trucks. We will take a left on Harwood, go up to Ross, take a right on Ross, and then march down Ross a few blocks till Ackerd, take a left on Ackerd, and then we're almost there. So we'll walk behind each other and show your banners, show your signs, so we can make people aware of this.
Just quickly before the next speaker comes on, I just want to remind everyone that we have Protect Workers and the Environment. We want you to sign these cards so we can send them to your senator, okay? So if you'll take some of these cards, we certainly do appreciate that. And also, let's thank the press for coming out and being a part of this so they'll get our story out to the public. Thank you so much. Thank you, press, for being out here supporting us on today.
Well, thanks for everybody for coming out. My name's David with the Sierra Club. One more little talk before we start moving, but want to thank all the different groups that are here today, which is not just labor and environment. There are many, many groups here that are opposed to the TPP. Why are we opposed? Because it's a secret agreement and we need time to look at it. We need to not allow this fast track to pass, because otherwise Congress would not be able to do its job. And take a look at this. No matter what you think of Congress, they do need to take a look at this. It should not be pushed through. The environmental protections that we have learned are very weak. Unlike other trade agreements that were bad enough, this one's even worse. There's no requirement for countries to take action, only requirements that they be allowed to take action. That's the kind of weak language that Congress needs to look at, to very carefully deal with, and we need to make sure that fast track does not pass. So tell Congress not to pass fast track legislation. Thank you.
Ho ho! TPP has got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! TPP has got to go! Hey hey! I got it. Why did you say that? Yeah, put a step on it, man.
Make sure they're on the brick. It's not yellow brick, but if you could stay on the red brick, then we're on public property. And everything else belongs to the Chamber of Commerce. Alright, good. Alright, so our next speaker is Bob Cash. Bob has been a construction worker, factory worker, union organizer, staffer, campaign manager, you name it, and he's done it. He's been the state director of the Texas Fair Trade Coalition for 5 years. And this coalition is a state affiliate of the DC located Citizens Trade Campaign and is composed of labor, environmental, family farm, human rights groups. All right, let's stay on the brick, please, all right? So, Bob Cash.
Hi. I cannot tell you how happy I am to see all of you today. I heard there was going to be we're organizing a rally on a Friday, midday. You know, if 25 people had showed up, I would have been happy. I think we have 125, maybe 150 people. So don't get yourselves a hand. 20 years ago this month, the North American Free Trade Agreement was ratified and went into effect. There was no organization in the United States that lobbied harder than the Dallas Chamber of Commerce. And at that time, Dallas Chamber of Commerce was promising jobs, 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 jobs. That was the basic lobby call, was saying, you know, we pass this, we're going to have things, we're going to have exports going to Mexico and Canada. We're going to be having imports come in. There's going to be jobs in all 3 countries. And it's turned out not exactly to be that case. The Chamber has a lot of answers to give to working Texans who have lost their jobs, particularly in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which has really been the epicenter of job loss since NAFTA went into effect. And then CAFTA, and then China and the World Trade Organization, the last 3 free trade organizations agreements that went into effect, one of which, Korea, has been in effect for less than 14 months, I believe, and we've already lost 40,000 jobs in the United States because of that. But now the Chamber and their allies are pushing the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And once again, this is going to be an answer to all our prayers. It's been 20 years of experience, and we know what happens when these free trade agreements pass. And the Trans-Pacific will be the biggest free trade agreement we have ever passed. The AFL-CIO says that we're going to lose at least 1 million jobs due to the TPP if it passes. It's been negotiated in secret. Very few people have seen it other than the 600 corporate advisors who already to see it.
Secret tribunals, no tribunals.
Other people can't see it, but,
no tribunals.
But people from multinational corporations our members of the Dallas Chamber of Commerce can. So, on the 20th anniversary, we need the 20th anniversary now. We need to think about the Texans who have lost their jobs. Texas has lost 80,000 manufacturing jobs, 8.5% since during this period, 1994 to 2010. In terms of workers who have applied for trade adjustment assistance, which is a government program, which you have to prove that you lost your job because you've been outsourced to another country or because of cheap foreign imports coming in. 140,000 Texans have been displaced. The Economic Policy Institute found 55,600 jobs have been lost because of NAFTA alone. And also that 193,000 jobs in Texas have been lost or displaced because of the deficit, jobs deficit growth since China was let into the World Trade Organization. The TPP is no different than any of these other agreements. We can see our jobs going to Vietnam, to Malaysia, but these jobs, these jobs are good jobs to provide a good living for people. Once they are sent to those countries, they're sweatshop jobs. They're jobs that people are making the same product, but they're committing suicide.
This is William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please leave comments below, or like, follow, or subscribe to us and get notices of all our videos. We love it, even when you call.